Good night, teacher. This is reading the first chapter of the Giver book. It was almost December, and Jonas was beginning to be frightened. No, wrong words, Jonas thought. Frightened meets that deep, sighing feeling of something terrible about to happen. Frightened was the way he had felt like years ago when a unidentified aircraft had overflowed the community twice. He had seen it both times, squaring towards the sky. He had seen the sleek jet, almost a blur at its high speed, who passed, and second later heard the blast of shot that followed. Then one more time, a moment later, from the opposite direction, the same plane. At first, he had been only fascinated. He had never seen aircraft so close, for it was against the rules for pilots to fly over the community. Occasionally, when supplies were delivered by cargo planes to the landing fleet across the river, the children rode their bicycles to the right bank and watched intrigued the unloading and then the takeoff, directed to the west, always away from the community. But the aircraft a years ago had been different. It was not a squat but flying cargo plane but a needle-nosed single-pilot jet. Jonas, looking around anxiously, had seen others, adults as well as children, stop what they were doing and wait confused for explanation for the frightened event. Then all of the citizens had been ordered to go into the nearest building and stay there immediately. The rasping voice told the speakers had said, "Leave your bicycles where they are." Instantly, obediently, Jonas had dropped his bike on each side of the path behind his family's dwelling. He had run indoors and stayed there alone. His parents were both at work and his little sister Lily was at the children's care center where they spent her after school hours. Looking through the front windows, he had seen no people, none of the busy afternoon crew of the street cleaners, landscape workers and food delivery, people who usually populated the community at that time of day. He saw only the abandoned bikes here and there on their sides, and upturned wheel was still revolving slowly. He had been frightened then, the sense of his own community silent. When he had made his stomach churn, he has trembled. But it has been nothing. Within minutes the speakers had crackled again, and the voice returning now and less urgent, had explained that a pilot in training had misread his navigational instruction and made a wrong turn. Desperately, the pilot had been trying to make his way back before his error was noticed. Needless to say, he will be released. The voice had said, followed by silence. There was an ironic tone to that final mention, as if the speakers found it amusing, and Jonas had smiled, and later thought he knew what grim statement it has been. For a contributing citizen to be released from the community was a final decision, a terrible punishment, an overwhelming statement of failure. Even the children were scolded if they used the term lightly at play, jeering at teammates who missed that catcher stumbled in a race. Jonas had done it once, had shouted at his best friend, "That's it, Asher, you're released." When Asher claims the hero had lost a match for his team, he had been taken and saved for a brief and serious talk by the coach, had hung his head with guilt and embarrassment and apologized to Asher after the game. Now, thinking about the feeling of fear as he pedaled home along the river path, he remembered that moment of playful stomachache shaking, terror when the aircraft had struck above. It was not what he was feeling now, with December approaching. He searched for the right words to describe his own feeling. Jonas was careful about language, not like his friend Asher, who talked too fast and messed things up, scrambling words and phrases until they were barely recognized and often very funny. Jonas grinned, remembering the morning that Asher had dashed into the classroom late as usually, arriving breathlessly in the middle of the chanting of the morning anthem. When the class took their seats at the conclusion of the patriotic hymn, Aisha reminded the student to make his public apology as was required. I apologize for inconveniencing my learning community. I used ran through the start apology phrase rapidly. Still catching his breath, the instructor and class waited patiently for his explanation. The students had all been grinning because they had listened to Asher's explanation so many times before. I left home at the correct time, but when I was reading along near the hatchery, the crew was separating some salmon. I guess I just got distracted watching them. I apologized to my classmates, Asher concluded. He smoothed his rumpled tunic and sat down. We accept your apology, Asher. The class recited the standard response in unison. Many of the students were biting their lips to keep from laughing. I accept your apology, Asher, the instructor said. He was smiling, and I thank you because once again you have provided an opportunity for a lesson in language. Distraught is too strong an adjective to describe Salmon viewing. He turned and wrote distraught on the instructional board, besides in the word distracted. Jonas nearing his home now, smiled at the recollection, thinking still as wheeled his bike into its narrow port beside the door. He realized that frightened was the wrong word to describe his feeling now that December was almost here. It was too strong an adjective. He had waited a long time for a special December. Now that it was almost upon him, he wasn't frightened, but he was eager. He decided he was eager for it to come, and he was excited certainly. All of the elements were excited about the event that would be coming so soon. But there was a little shoulder of nervousness when he drove about what might happen. Apprehensive, Jonas decided that what I am. Who wants to be the first tonight for feelings? Jonas' father asked. At the conclusion of their evening meal, it was one of the riddles the evening telling of feeling. Sometimes Jonas and his sister Lily argued over who would get to first. The parent, of course, were part of the ritual. They, too, told their feeling each evening. But like all parents, all adults, they didn't fight and waited for their turns. Not did Jonas tonight. His feelings were too complicated this evening. He wanted to share them, but he wasn't eager to begin the process of sifting through his own complicated emotions, even with the help that he knew his parents could give. You go, Lily, he said, seeing his sister, who was much younger, only a 7, wiggling with impassion in her chair. I feel very angry this afternoon, Lily announced. My training group was the play area, and we had a visiting group of 7s, and they didn't obey the rules at all. One of them, a male, I don't know his name, kept going right to the front of the line for the slide. Even throws the rest of them were all waiting. I felt so angry at him. I made my hand into a fist like this. She held up a clenched fist, and the rest of the family smiled at her small defiant gesture. Why do you think the visitors didn't obey the rules? Mother asked. Lily considered and shook her head. I don't know. He acted like animals. Jonas shook his loud head. That's right, Lily sighed, longing too, like animals. Neither childs knew what the words mean exactly, but it was often used to describe someone uneducated or clumsy, someone who didn't fit in. Where were the visitors from? Phaedra asked. Lily frowned and trying to remember. Our leader told us when they made the welcome speech, but it can't remember. I guess I wasn't paying attention. I was from another community. They had to leave very early and they had their midday meal of the bus. Mother nodded. Do you think it's possible that their roles might be different? And so they simply didn't know what your play area rules were? Lily shrugged and nodded. I suppose. You visited other communities, hadn't you? Jonas asked. My groups had often. Lily nodded again. When where? Says we went and shared and whole skills day with a group of 6 in their community. How did you feel you were there? Lily frowned. It felt strange because their methods were different. They were learning uses than my group had learned yet, so I felt stupid. Father was listening with interest. I'm thinking, Lily, he said, about the boy who didn't obey the rules today. Do you think it's possible that he feels strange and stupid being in a new place with rules that he didn't know about? Lily pondered that. Yes, she said finally. I feel a little sorry for him, Jonas said. Even though I don't know him, I feel sorry for anyone who is in place where he feels strange and stupid. How do you feel now, Lily? Phaedra asked, still angry? I guess no, Lily decided. I guess I feel a little sorry for him and sorry I made a first, she grinned. Jonas smiled back at his sister. Lily's feelings were always straightforward, fairly simple, usually easy to resolve. He guessed that his own had been, too, when he was 7. He listened politely, thought not very attentively, while his father took his turn describing a feeling of worry that hit the day at work, a concern about the new children who wasn't doing well. Jonah's father still was nurturer. He and the other nurturers were responsible for all the physical and emotional needs of every new child during its earliest life. It was a very important job, Jonas knew, but this wasn't that interesting him much. What gender is it? Lily asked. Male, father said. He's a sweet little man with a low disposition, but he isn't growing as fast as he should and he doesn't sleep soundly. We have him in the extra care section for supplements naturally for the community. Communities beginning to tell about the relation him. Oh no. Mother's murmured sympathetically. I don't how sad that must make you feel. Jonathan and Lily both nodded sympathetically as well. Realize of new children was always sad because they hadn't had a chance to enjoy life within the community yet, and they hadn't done anything wrong. There were only 2 occasions of release, which were not punishment. Release of the elderly, which was a time of celebration for a life well and fully lived, and release of a new child, which always brought a sense of what could we have done. This was especially troubling for the Northerners, like fathers who felt they had failed somewhat, but it happened very rarely. Well, father said, I'm going to keep trying. I may ask the community for permission to bring him here at night. If you don't mind, you know what the mixed crab nurturers are like. I think this guy needs something extra, of course. Mother sighed and Jonas and Lily nodded. They had heard father complain about the night crab before. It was lesser job night crab nursery. A sickness to those who lacked the interest or skill or instinct for the more vital job for the daytime hours. Most of the people on the night crew had not even been given spouses because they lacked somehow the essential capacity to connect to others, which was required for the creation of a family unit. Maybe we could even keep him, Lily suggests sweetly, trying to look innocent. The look was fake. Jonas knew they all knew. Lily mothers remained her smiling. You know the rules. 2 children, 1 male, 1 female. To each family unit it was written clearly in the rules. Lily giggled. Well, she sighed, it thought maybe just this once. Next, mother who held a prominent position at the Department of Justice talked about her feelings. Today a repeat of it had been brought before her. Someone who had broken the rules before, fairly punished, and who had been restored to his place, to his home, his family unit. To see him brought before her a second time caused her overwhelming feeling of the frustration and anger, and even guilt that she hadn't made a difference in his life. I feel frightened, too, for him, she confessed. You know that there's no clear change. The rules say that if there are clear transgression, he simply has to be realized. Jonas shivered. He knew it happened. There was even a boy in his group of 11 whose fathers had been realized years before. No one of mentions it. The disgrace was unspeakable. It was hard to imagine. Lily stood up and went to her mother. She stroked her mother's arm. From his place at the table, father reached over and took her hand. Jonas reached for the others. One by one, they comforted her. Sunday smiled, thanked them, and murmured that she felt soothed. The ritual continued. Jonas? Father asked. You are last tonight. Jonas sighed. This evening he almost would have preferred to keep his feeling hidden, but it was of course against the rules. I'm feeling apprehensive. He confessed, glad that the appropriate description words and had finally come to him. Why is that so? His father looked concerned. I know there's really nothing to worry about, Jonas explained, and that every adult had been through it. I know you have, fathers, and you too, mother. But it's the ceremony that I'm apprehensive about. It's almost December. Lily looked up, her eyes wet. The ceremony of 12, she whispered in a weak voice. Even the smallest children, Lily's age and younger, he knew that it lay in the future for each of them. I'm glad you told us of your feeling, father said. Lily? Mother sighed, becoming to the little girl. Come now and get into your nightclothes. Fathers and I are going to stay here and talk to Jonas for a while. Lily sighed thought. Obediently, she got down from her chair. Privately? She asked. Mother nodded. Yes, she said. This talk will be a private one with Jonas.